Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic in 2021, baby. We've got Kaldheim to talk about, some leaks, some stuff we know. We're going to gather it all up, round it all out before the big reveal on Thursday. But before we do, if you would, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out.
The best way to support the channel with just the click of a button. Yeah, man, we've got a lot of cards to talk about today. We have some spoilers. It's going to be, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So over the holiday, I've been off for the last 2 weeks. Jake's been taking care of the place. There were a lot of leaks. A lot of leaks happened over the holiday, and we are going to talk about them. Jake, why'd that tickle you?
Because you had the music so damn loud, dude, that I couldn't really hear. And now I'm catching up with chat, and like BuzzFuck was talking about the delay I had. I felt it myself. We have people saying professionals.
Hey, look, we shoot this live, okay? We have a good time hanging out with y'all, damn it.
Better when we just do it not live.
No, right, we have a great time doing this. What I was saying, we are going to talk about leaks. These are some of these cards today that we're going to see are unsanctioned as of yet. They have not been officially revealed by Wizards, but like all sets before them, in the WotC tradition, these have leaked. And so we are going to talk about them because we don't ignore known knowledge, because we do talk about MTG Finance on the channel, and it might affect movers in the market. Just knowing that the fact that the cards exist. Jake, before we jump over, have I covered everything I need to cover?
Everything. If you're a supporter of the channel, check us out on Patreon. It's a great way to support us.
We're so much better live.
I'm done.
We're so much better live. Let's swap it over. All right, so here we go, y'all. We had, before the last 2 weeks of December, some cards revealed. We already have a video going over most, if not all of these, but I did want to touch on these showcase frames real fast before we go up and start taking a glance at the new cards. Jake, the more I've looked at these, the more I like them.
Yeah, they're very nice, but again, don't be fooled by these. Don't think that these showcase frames are going to be anything different than other showcase frames that we've seen in the past.
It'll be exactly like Eldraine, just like Storybook. Right. So all I'm saying is that I like this.
No, I do too. I agree with you. I like it as well, and I'm not saying that you're a fool for liking it or anything like that. I'm just saying don't pay a premium for any of them or anything like that, because they're just like anything else. Yeah.
Absolutely. I am interested to see on Thursday during that big live reveal, which we will be covering here live on the channel, by the way, exactly what is going to be in the collector's boosters. I think that we have yet to see some little shocker, and I'm excited to see what that's about. But what I want to do is take it up in here into the real cards. Jake, looking through this on Mythic Spoiler on the website we're on, I'm assuming that the ones where we have good pictures have officially been revealed, and the ones where we have crappy pictures have not been officially revealed. So let's start here with Calamity Bearer. Jake, we were just talking about Giant Tribal. Red 2 for a 3/4 Giant Berserker. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. So I'm assuming that Bone Crusher Giant counts as a giant source, correct?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that question as well. Would the stomp side of Bone Crusher be considered a giant source?
I would have to look in that. Hopefully,
but I would imagine that it is. It would have to be tribal. I guess the question is stomp a giant, a tribal source or a tribal instant or something like that? That would be my question, I guess. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that, if it was on the battlefield, and Calamity Bearer is also on the battlefield, if the giant gets targeted, it deals damage, so that would count. But I'm not sure about the stomp side. The more we talk about it, the more I doubt that side would do for. Yeah, I'm seeing in chat that it is a separate non-giant spell, so I would be leaning towards that. But yeah, Calamity Bearer, more support for the giant tribe. You know, I saw right after Eldraine came out, and so some of the cards will have already rotated, but there was this fun deck bouncing around Twitter of giant tribal because you had the board wipe that says kill all non-giant creatures, and so we still will have that, so it will be interesting to see if maybe that one can make a comeback. Jake, next up here we've got a couple of mythics to talk about, 3 to be exact, one of which is Battle Mammoth, which gives us our first look at exactly what Foretell is. Foretell says down here, 2 green, 2 other. During your turn you can pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down, cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. So it's putting mana away for now, but letting you cast it for potentially cheaper than the actual spell costs later on.
So this is one of the few cards that I have seen, and it reminds me of Morph and Suspend. And that's what a lot of people are kind of comparing it to, is like this weird hybrid of those two mechanics. I think it's a fun card. I think it's great. I'm excited to see the exact power level of it and how well Foretell does, but at a glance it seems like, you know, getting in early at a discount is good, but we'll see.
Yeah, Battle Mammoth also has this ability. Say it again.
It's a giant big green creature, so I imagine some deck is going to want it.
Oh yeah, whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Yeah, that seems good. Seems great in EDH, obviously. Put it away for 2, cast it for 4 later. You got this weird asceticism that nets you cards and can also attack.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's good. It's good.
Next up, we've got what is probably the lead here of the entire leak season, we'll call it. Bourne Clex Monstrous Raider, 6 cost 6/6, legendary creature type, Jake, type Phyrexian Praetor. So we've got Phyrexian in the type line. Trampling,
that's actually wild. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Love the symbol behind the chat, behind the description box. That is taking me back. Trampling Hastings 6/6, because 6/6 for 6 trample haste. Why not? Green is a good color nowadays. If you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. If an opponent would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, they put half that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead, rounded down.
Oh, man.
Do you think this card's any good?
I don't know. Do I think counter synergies are going to want it? Yeah. I mean, dude, the card it's absolute gas. I mean, anything that's like Anointed Procession, Doubling Season, Parallel Lives, all of those kind of decks that are running those cards are going to want this card. I'm interested to see if we're going to see more Praetors, or if Bourne Clex is just kind of like a rogue that just appears by itself that is a teaser to something else. I think the card is absolute gas, though. Yeah, I think it's really good.
Right. I mean, essentially, we're going to want to figure out, to compare it to Marvel, we're trying to figure out if this is like the first Avengers film.
Dude. I love that haste. That's really nice.
We're trying to see if this is, you know, the Thanos teaser at the end of Avengers, or if this is straight up Infinity War and the Phyrexians have invaded Kaldheim and we're going to see new Phyrexia, or return to new Phyrexia, or whatever you want to call it, at the beginning of next year.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, we've got to go back to Phyrexia at some point.
Of course, they need the money points.
Yeah, I know, right? The money points. Got to get the money points. I like money points.
One of the most beloved, you know, evil factions in the game, and so it makes sense that they would want to get back to it at a certain point. As we move down into Resplendent Marshal, I just want to remind chat that if you are just joining us, right? Yeah, this is another mythic. If you are just joining us there in chat and watching this live and not on the video on demand afterward, we are discussing leaks in this video, so just want you to be aware of that. You might see some stuff that has not officially been released by Wizards, but we do look at the leaks here on Jake and Joel Are Magic. Resplendent Marshal, 2 white, 1 other, 3/3 Mythic Angel Warrior. It's a flyer, and when it enters the battlefield or dies, you may exile another creature card from your graveyard. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, other than Resplendent Marshal, that shares a creature type with the exiled card. So you've got this like definite tribal staple in white.
Oh yeah.
In EDH, right off the rip.
Yeah. I'm rereading it. I love just, 3/3 flyer for 3 by itself is good.
Yeah, already good. I would be interested to see if we're going to get some sort of angel tribal.
It gets nice synergy out of the graveyard. But you are exiling something, so I feel like it's going to be less attractive in EDH. I don't know. I think it's okay. I think it will definitely see some constructed play. It seems very, very strong.
Yeah, I would be interested to see if we maybe get, like some angel support, some warrior support. Yeah. I think it's got a possibility. I mean, I don't think the modern humans deck wants stuff like this that's non-human because you have to cut good humans to do it. But we're gonna see a lot of party support this year, y'all. We know we're going to Dungeons and Dragons later in the year, and so the party mechanic ain't going anywhere. That ain't going anywhere. And so
that's true.
Stuff like this, mythics like this, even if they turn out to be bust mythics right when the set's released, this is the kind of mythic that could, really pop up later in the year in 60 cards.
Angel isn't part of that, of part of party, is it?
No. It's warrior and rogue and wizard and.
Yeah, if it had another relevant type on there. I mean, I don't know. Warrior is pretty good, so maybe it does make it into those decks. Time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a call, Jake, going back to the Phyrexian discussion about Jin Gitaxias possibly popping up in Strixhaven. I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that. We've seen Seraph Realm Eater. This is our new Abzan card that has a lot of +1/+1 counter synergy. We've seen Showdown of the Scalds. It's got a little, red card advantage here. We saw these two earlier as well, Cayenne, Halvar. I covered Halvar in its own video. Over here, next leaked one we've got is the Blood Sky Massacre. It's a saga. I'm going to try and zoom in on a little here and see if I can get a little closer on these cards that don't have great resolution.
So
that's better.
Blood Sky Massacre, I would say this is definitely, if they ever did Party Hard Shred Harder 2, this would be a card that would make it into that product, right?
Dude, yeah, that actually sounds like a metal band. What are you doing on Saturday? I'm going to go see the Blood Sky Massacre. Yeah, I think that is definitely a I don't know. Anyway, pretty cool card here. 1 red, 1 black, 1 other for Saga. The first phase is create a 2/3 red demon berserker creature token with menace. I like this. And then once you put the first lore counter, you're going to get whenever a berserker attacks this turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. And then after the last lore counter, add red for each berserker you control until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. So pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm trying to read it here. So they don't have to attack, but whenever it attacks, you get the draw card, lose card. You get the Phyrexian Arena effect.
That is built in. So if they only have 1 out there, most likely, if they only have 1 blocker out there, you're going to be able to get through and make sure that you draw that card, and you're still going to have that 2/3 left over for the next turn, which is nice. I like that they gave it menace.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make sense to do that. With Berserkers, looking at this card, I'm not sure if you need to really be like, it needs Berserker synergy to work. Obviously, that's going to help. And so if there's like a rare, hasty, 1-drop, 2-drop Berserker, that's going to make this card better just because that card exists. But
for sure. On that second, as you're in the second phase of the saga, is it called phases?
Yeah, it's...
I don't know what it...
Add a lore counter at your draw
as you're in
step.
as you're in the second phase of the saga, though, any berserkers, so like I'm thinking of like lightning berserker and like little one cost. I'm pretty sure there were a couple cards that were berserkers that had dash in like Fate Reforged, if I recall correctly. But yeah, I think this is a card that could make it into, you know, modern decks. I think there's like certain if berserkers were to really take off, if you could do something with that, like any kind of like aggro-centric constructed deck, I think it's a fun card. I really like it a lot. That
going through it. So on turn 3, you're getting a 2/3 menacing. You're getting 2 power with menace. On turn 4, you drop a land. You got access to 4 mana. You attack with your berserker. You net a card. You lose a life, so you're drawing a card to replace the Blood Sky Massacre. And you might, because of menace, save your 2 power on the board. And then on 3, after your draw step in your first main, you'll get, you know, maybe 1 red mana. So you'll be on your 5th mana. So if you're hitting your land drops and you're playing this perfectly on curve, that's the scenario I'm working out here. You'd be on turn 5 with 5 mana. You'd add a 6th. So you'd get to play a 6-drop on turn 5 potentially. You know, that's pretty dope. That's we've seen the power of what a 6-drop is going to look like in this set.
Yeah, I think there's some nice synergy with this card. And if I'm right, I think there were some like dash berserkers, like you could play them for a cheaper cost. They come out with haste, and then at the end of the turn you return them to your hand. And I think cards like those play nice with this to make sure that on that next turn, on that lore counter, you're able to attack with as many berserkers as possible and draw a lot of cards. Then you could just pack, you know, removal into the deck, make sure that you can answer your opponent's creatures and then stay ahead of them with velocity. Yeah, I think it's a fun card. I'm excited to see what it does.
I love these sagas, man. I love the card type. I love that they're including it in this, with them getting away from the story online every week and really helping us, you know, get through the plane from a story, from a narrative driven aspect. These sagas really help round out the lore. And so it's not a huge Vorthos itch. I'm not super into it, but I did always keep up with the stories of the planes and what was going on. And I really enjoyed, like the last one that I loved was Ixalan. And so it's nice that these exist when they exist, because it really rounds out what's going on and gives you some story, gives you some backstory. That's pretty cool for me. Battle for Bretagard is another saga we got leaked. 1 white, 1 green, 1 other. On its first phase, you're going to create a 1/1 white human warrior. So warrior, relevant creature type. Human, relevant creature type. 2, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. Again, 2 relevant creature types. 3, choose any number of artifact tokens and or creature tokens you control with different names. For each of them, create a token that's a copy of it. So it's not going to double everything, but mostly everything on your board is going to get an additional token copy created of that token. This one's
for me, I like less, because when I'm thinking like, all right, so you play a mana dork on turn 1, and then on turn 2 you can play this and get yourself a 1/1, or you could play something like, you know, like a Steel Leaf Champion, and you just have like absolute gas on the board ready to go on turn 2. I do get that this does have 3 phases, but the power reflected in the first 2 is just, it's not a lot for me. And I know that there are certain situations where you can have any kind of like anthems on the board that's going to buff these creatures and stuff like that. I get that you're really waiting for that last phase of the saga to get the most bang for your buck here. But like, yeah, I just don't like the power represented in the first two parts of the saga.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about Berserkers, Jake, and the Blood Sky Massacre, which was a saga we liked. Let's look at a human Berserker here for 2 mana. So this is exactly what we were talking about, wanting that 2-drop Berserker that might be good. This one's rare. A red and another
First
for a 2,
which is nice.
Oh, baby, exactly. It really helps that second mode. First striking 2/2 boast abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate for each dragon you control. Okay. And boast It is a 5-cost activation, a red and 4 other. Create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying, activated only if the creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. It is instant speed, it seems like to me, so it seems like you can activate it without learning whether or not the Dragonkin Berserker survives the attack. But pretty interesting to have a 2-mana creature that can also be beneficial late in the game.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy. I mean, if you can figure out a way to just get this through, you just let it happen. This guy's going to die and then you replace it with a dragon. That's kind of like how I see this, is there's going to be some way to just, this guy is going to get eaten. You're going to want to convert it into the dragon as soon as possible. If that means that you need to throw it at a blocker or whatever. I think it's a fun card. I think it will be difficult to use well, though, honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like the lore feel of it, the boasting, the tales of grandeur about your exploits. I attacked and a 5/5 dragon swooped down and helped me.
Sure. Yeah.
So from a playing standpoint, I love it. I don't think this is going to be the best use that we see of boast. I imagine that there'll be draw cards, return creatures to hand, all the greatest hits for the mechanic across different colors of creature. It is interesting, though, that is a creature-based mechanic, as it is only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. Yeah, this is my first time really seeing boast. Like I said, I hadn't seen any of these leaks, so I'm trying to analyze boast here live on the day. I'm ready to see more cards of the mechanic and see exactly how they use it.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm excited to see, but again, that's a little bit expensive, and if you want to get the most out of this card, you have to build it into dragons. If you want to be able to boast for less, you need to be putting dragon cards into the deck. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it...
Devin makes a good point. The 5/5 dragon token is probably going to look awesome, because it's going to be a style of dragon that we haven't seen before. We've got a rare snow sorcery, Jake, here. Blessings of Frost. A green and 3 other snow sorcery. Distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast this spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Snow is mana from a snow source. So I guess the lead here is not that this card is fantastic, but that snow is a thing and snowman is going to be a thing.
Yes, snow is confirmed. This is probably something that they would have wanted very late to confirm. We hadn't seen any sort of snow cards to make us believe for any reason that grabbing cards like Winter's Night was a good idea, but now we have seen it with Blessing of Frost. I would imagine there's going to be more snow cards. Again, we've only seen a very small amount of cards from the set. So
and these could still be really elaborate fakes. And, we're all proven wrong when we go to do our full sanctioned set review, starting with previews. But
yeah,
it seems like snow's here.
Yeah, it would just have to be somebody who's like, I want to put so much time into creating the fakest. I have literally nothing to do. I'm the Elon Musk of boredom. I'm just sitting here at my house. I have just unlimited money and time to just make extremely high quality fakes so that I can push Winter's Night and make all of that money off of those old reserve list cards. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that these cards are just absolutely real. And that's honestly the biggest reveal for me, is seeing the snow sorcery Blessing of Frost. Seeing that symbol means that there's going to be a lot of FOMO. There's going to be a lot of people that are just, buying random jank in hopes that they're going to be able to flip it into a Ferrari. And, I just don't think that that's how that's going to go.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, yeah, no, I agree. This card in and of itself is a perfect example of why I am just such a huge proponent of, when these leaks happen, it's silly to me to just ignore them like they didn't happen. I completely respect anybody who wants to avoid it and just wants to be surprised by it on the day, but these exist and there will be bad actors. And, you don't want to be caught flat-footed. I'm not encouraging anybody to go be a bad actor, but, they do exist in the world, and we should all at least have the same knowledge, especially when the knowledge exists. I want to pivot.
It's like sitting on an asset and being like, it looks like it's going to sink into the swamp, Dad, and Dad's just like, no, trust me. It's like, no, I was back at town and they were saying that it's 100% going to sink into the swamp, and then you're just like, no, I'm going to leave all of my valuables in the house, even though they've told me on the news that my house is sinking. I'm just going to let it sink anyway. So it's like, I don't know. That's I don't know why that was what I came up with, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, it was an interesting metaphor. It's like, no, swamp sink is next Tuesday, and I will not accept swamp sink that happens before next Tuesday.
Right. It's like unsanctioned swamp sink. You had a chance to save your house and your valuables, or you had a chance to save valuables. Your house was going to go. And anyway. Yeah.
I want to pivot back to Dragonkin Berserker. D-Scow in chat reminded me that shapeshifters are going to be a thing in this set. We can see it right here, shapeshifter changeling. This card is every creature type. So they would count as dragons to reduce the boast.
That's good. That is a very good note, and that is something that I was not considering when I said those things. So thank you very much for that note. I'm not looking at chat as we do the video, but I will catch up.
Moving right along. Realm Walkers are buy a box. We've got Toski, Bearer of Secrets. We've seen our legendary squirrel. Over here, we've got Runeforge Champion, 1 white, 2 other. Dwarf Warrior 2/3. When it enters a battlefield, you may search your library and or graveyard for a rune card. Reveal it, put it into your hand. If you searched your library this way, shuffle it. You may pay 1 rather than pay the mana cost for rune spells you cast. So I'm kind of getting cartouche vibes from Amonkhet here.
Yeah, like a cartouche. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I was thinking like maybe like a keystone or like a key rune or one of those like I don't know, those like little lockets that you can sacrifice for cards, but no, that makes more sense. Like a cartouche. I could see that.
I see him as the seals. I think it's called Seal of Doom, stuff like that. Seal of Nature. These aren't the right names, but those enchantments that came in some of the pre-cons that you can play them onto the field and then sack them for effects, or like spell bombs. You remember spell bombs? Yeah.
So like an artifact or an enchantment with a cost that we can use later. We put it on the battlefield and then use it when we need it. Yeah, that could be cool.
And it does some little effect. Nothing game breaking, but in the aggregate becomes a very powerful thing. Runeforge Champion's cool. It's kind of interesting though, Jake. You remember the champion from Theros that was like every time you play an enchantment, draw a card, and we were really high on it, like crazy high on it. And that card has ended up being nothing. And so this 3 mana, to me, outside of its application in EDH decks with a lot of synergies, which I don't know how you can get rune synergies out of one set, but whatever.
Sure.
This seems like it's off the rip with no other information. This seems like it's 1 mana too much. If I look at the last year of cards that were similar to this and didn't really take off.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, when they give it that 3 toughness, it's hard to make it only 2 cost, especially with that much text on it. So, yeah, I mean 2/3 for 3, and we don't really know what runes are yet, so it might be really, really good, and then it makes a lot more sense.
Sorry, that was Travis with the tip about changelings, not D-Scow. If we move down here, we've got Sigrid, God Favored. White.
2 white. I'll read this one. 2 white, 1 other for 2/2. Legendary creature, human warrior. Flash, first strike, protection from god creatures. Whenever it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target attacking or blocking creature until it leaves the battlefield. So it's very good.
Goodness.
It's just extremely good.
This is inappropriate. Really, this is inappropriate. This could be a 2-for-1 so easily. Swing team in response.
Yeah, flash, first strike. Yeah, that's easily one of the best cards.
This and pro gods, and we know that the gods in this set can die. They're not indestructible.
Exile up to one target attacking or blocking creature until it leaves the battlefield. Yeah, I mean, that's like you're exiling something, so you have kind of like a spell queller vibe going on this card. Any kind of like fiend hunter, but just like that flash, you know, like spell queller has flash. You're going to be able to exile up to one target attacking or blocking creature. It's not restricted to power or toughness or anything. It's just straight up. And then you can have that first strike. That's like, oh
Dog,
man, this card is good.
Skyclave Apparition, white, one other, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to one target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with CMC 4 or less. Alongside Secret God Favorite, exiling, attacking, or blocking creatures. I mean, there's a mono white deck forming right in front of our eyes that curves out at 3. The creatures do the removals, and you're just attacking the whole time.
Yeah, the thing that holds this card back, though, that makes it unlike Skyclave and unlike Spell Queller is the fact that it is legendary. So you're not going to be able to get a lot of them on the battlefield. So where it is a very, very powerful card, it is held back by the fact that, you know, unless you have like Mirror Gallery out or something that's going to allow you to play multiples of them.
No, yeah, for sure.
But still, great card. Great card.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely great. Righteous Valkyrie is up next. 1 white, 2 other, 2/4 Angel Cleric. Rare card. Flying. Whenever another cleric or angel enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So it's not going to count itself, just checking. As long as you have at least 7 life, more than your starting life total. Anthem for +2/+2. Creatures you control get +2/+2. Righteous Valkyrie. Little, more support for that life gain deck that's been bouncing around. I mean, maybe historic for this one. That life gain deck has done some things, but hasn't really taken off.
It's telling me it's going to end up, but it's bulk, dude. To me, it's bulk, and it will make waves in something like historic and those life gain decks and stuff like that. But I don't see this as being one of the huge cards from the set. I hate that clause. I really do always hate. Like, this card
more life
becomes
than your life
super
total.
Amazing once you get your life total to a certain amount, baby. It is going to be nutso. But, you know, I hate having to get to that clause. And, you know, for someone who just values removal, it just dies, dude. It's cool. It just dies. Like, this is like, but look what they did with this, Joel, because you were
Creatures
just talking
died
about
removal.
that. But this card that we're talking about now, we were just talking about that 3-cost card, and we were like, is this good at 2/3? Look what they put on this 3-cost. They made a 2/4 flyer that has a bunch of upside. Like, a 2/4 flyer for 3 in the old days would have been a rare.
This is a rare.
Oh no, I mean it is a rare, but like a vanilla 2/3 is what I'm saying. Like a vanilla 2/3, no text, no upside.
Without the I see what you're saying.
A naked card would have been a rare. So it's like, at this point, the power creep is real. I think it's cool. Whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to its toughness. You don't really have to do anything. You don't have to swing through and get life link. You can just play this and then just play clerics with high toughness. If you can go through and find a bunch of clerics that have like nice high toughness.
This card doesn't even gain you 4 life by itself.
I know, but then that pigeonholes you into playing subpar cards so that you can make this card work, which again is another reason why I don't like a card like this.
Yeah, agreed. I have to agree. This is the least hype rare I've seen tonight. Everybody make sure you tune in every night of spoilers. We will be going over that day's previewed cards in our official review series of all these cards. Here we're just kind of giving our slower reactions on some mechanics that are brand new to us. We kind of fly through them when we do the spoilers. Jake, you want to tell us about Arnie Broken Brow?
Yeah, 1 red, 2 other for 3/3 haste, legendary creature, human berserker. It has boast as well, and this time for 1, you may change Arnie Broken Brow's base power to 1 plus the greatest power among other creatures you control until end of turn. Activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
change its base power to 1 plus the greatest power among other creatures you control. So I actually like this card alongside something like Lupine Prototype. If you can make it work, just having like a nice... Dude, I mean,
everybody take a shot. We got there. He mentioned Lupine Prototype combo.
Yeah, but something like that where it's just like you have this huge card that, you know, like maybe Arnie has a bunch of vehicles that it plays alongside. Lupine is really good for crewing vehicles. So maybe we see some sort of like vehicle thing pop up where Arnie is able to boast, get something out of, you know,
he has to have
Lupine,
attacked.
and then you can, well, so
I see what you're saying.
But then Lupine crews a vehicle, and then all of a sudden you have something cooking. I don't know. Maybe I'll throw it together. But yeah, I think there's some fun synergies with this card. And, you know, those cards that have high power and toughness, but they can't attack, that's the kind of stuff that I think Arnie will like. But other than that, I mean, you could put it in anything that's just like regular aggro-centric, and I'm sure you're going to get good value out of it as well.
Things holding this back, it's a legendary card. Things working in this card's favor. For 4 mana, essentially you have a hasty creature that attacks with the highest power on the battlefield. You know, stapled to it, which is nice if you've already got one of those 5/5 dragons rocking and rolling. This is a hasty 5 power for 4 mana, which can, you know, go around whatever wall they've put up and help your red deck win. Also working for this card's favor is the flavor text. I headbutted a troll and won. And I can't see the art greatly up there, but it does look like there is a troll horn sticking out of the side of his head. And that's what he's boasting about. So yeah, interesting use of the boast mechanic there. I'm going to be interested to see what it looks like in other colors, because right now this makes sense, right? These boast abilities make sense because it's an attacking mechanic and they're on red cards.
I'm assuming be restrictive to certain colors. Probably like red and green see some boast, and then maybe some colors don't see it.
Well, you could also, like I said, you could also run it through each color's greatest hits and have, you know, Bird Wizard Boast, I attack, I return a creature you control to your hand. You know, I attack, I'm a black creature now, and I attack, I boast, you lose 2 life, I gain 2, and just run through the full greatest hits of each color, all the damn abilities that all of them always have.
Maybe. I mean, we've seen such a small amount of the set, pretty much anything is possible at this point.
Right,
we
and
also
like I said,
talked
we did
about Magda and Pyre, and we went over the lands before in the past. But yeah, we covered the spoilers and leaks.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We'll be doing the spoilers and leak videos as the actual sanctioned previews are happening. We will go back over all of these cards. We use Scryfall to do that series, so we'll touch on all these cards again. This one tonight, we just kind of wanted to meander through the new mechanics and check out some of the leaks and you know, see what we thought of those before we go into our official previews. Jake, I'm going to swap us back over to our other view.
Yeah, let's do it.
Live chat, thank you for hanging out. Viewers after the fact, thank you for watching. That is going to be our Kaldheim What We Know So Far. We have the official previews, the official preview stream, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. noon Eastern on Thursday, December 7th. If I'm doing that math right, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, we will be covering that. We will be co-streaming that and talking about the reveals as we see them. And like Jake said, we'll be reviewing the set as it comes out. Jake.
Yes.
What did you think of our first look here at Kaldheim?
I think it's really cool that we see snow. That's pretty much confirmed now. That is going to be something that, you know, once we see that card legit, you know, you joked around and you said, you know, maybe these cards are very elaborate fakes, and on the, you know, 1% chance that that's true, and we all eat crow on the snow permanents, you know, whatever. But I do think that's an interesting thing, and I'm really interested to just see what more. I'm interested to see like the cool lands other than these lands that they've showed us. I'm interested to see what kind of utility lands they give us, what kind of big splashy commanders they give us for EDH, what kind of really good EDH cards they give us, because that's the kind of stuff that is really, really attractive to me. As of right now, we've seen some fun stuff. But yeah, nothing to me that's just absolutely earth-shattering.
No, not yet.
And you know what? That's okay. That's okay.
Right.
We don't always need a jeweled lotus in every set. We don't always need some sort of crazy fierce guardianship or deflecting SWAT or anything like that in every set, because then that is the power creep that hurts the game.
That's what I was going to say. With the early preview event that Wizards did and gave us a little taste, and now these leaks, I think the stage is set for a very dope set. I'm really looking forward to the other surprises that we have in store. We've still got to know what's looking like collector boosters, what those boxes are going to look like. We've got all these new tribal things coming in. We've got legendary creatures, and we haven't even seen like a 3-color thing yet. I'm really interested to see if we see any 3-color stuff in this set. The possibility of Phyrexians. But like I said, we'll be covering these all the step of the way. Real quick note before we throw it out, if you're watching this on Monday the 4th of January or Tuesday the 5th of January, the evening of Tuesday the 5th, Jake has got a stream going. Jake, you want to plug that real fast?
Yeah, sure. We're going to do Foil Quest, Amano Liliana. We have pulled foil alternate art in our set. We have pulled foil alternate art Ugin, Tybalt, Teferi. We've had a lot of great pulls, but we have not pulled the foil alternate art Amano Liliana from War of the Spark. Japanese alternate art, which is what we're searching for. That's the goal of the series, is to pull that card and see it happen. It would be amazing. But it hasn't happened yet. And that is going to be 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday. And then also there's going to be a stream on Saturday. And if you want to sponsor that, all you have to do is go sign up on Patreon for 1 month. Reach out to us. We'll get you a quote on a box. I think right now these boxes, they have gone up in price from like $150 to like $170 at this point. And so if you do want to sponsor that, if you're feeling lucky, go find us on Patreon. You'll sign up for a month. You'll get into the giveaways like we went into tonight. You're going to get a signed foil 2-headed giant. You get access to the Discord and the community. It's a great time.
Absolutely it is. That's going to wrap us up. Live chat, we're still going to be hanging out here for a second. But video on demand peeps, we are going to slash wave. Goodbye. Sayonara. See you later. See you later, warehouse.
See you later, warehouse, but no one go anywhere because I think we're going to have something fun going on.